Okay, it's 7 o'clock on Tuesday, November 14. I hereby call the Raymore Arts Commission meeting to order. Mike, would you kindly do the roll call?
Commissioner Campbell.
I'm here.
Commissioner Lawrence. Here. Commissioner Paris.
Present.
Commissioner Setzer.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Okay, that constitutes a quorum. And with that, we'll proceed. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I don't think we have any public comments tonight, and excuse me, and I don't believe we have any presentations at this time, so we'll move right on in to the staff reports. Mike.
Thank you. Wanted to draw your attention to the updated budget and to give you an update. The last Monday in October, the City Council did approve the budget for overall city as well as for our budget as we had requested, and so there were no changes made, and I was really pleased to see that go through. And so the budget that you have in front of you is an outlined budget of all of the items included on the work plan that we had approved back in September, as well as the budget from that meeting. The only item that really has changed or that is completely different from last year, in the past, if you may remember, we had the Family Art Days listed out as the individual months and kind of each of them accounted on a single line. I decided that since we're sort of changing how our Family Art Days are run and, you know, kind of every other month or kind of moving forward, I've decided we're going to just group them all together under the one budget line, and then as we hold a Family Art Day, we'll line it out with the amount that was, you know, spent or expended for that event, or a reimbursement amount that we needed to spend, so that we can see after the fact rather than having it all listed out and expanded. I think it just makes it a little cleaner, a little easier. Plus, we could get a better accounting for if we get through the winter and maybe don't hold one. Say we didn't hold one in November. We don't have to hold that money in that November event. We're able to push it either to the December event or into future events. It's a little easier on the accounting side.
That makes sense.
As for the rest of the items, these are straight from the work plan as well as the budget. And if you have any questions on the budget, you'll be seeing this every month as we move forward, and I will update it as we begin spending on these individual projects and trying to keep it as up to date as possible so that we have kind of a real-time accounting of what is spent through the Arts Commission.
So just to be clear, the available 750 is unallocated at this point. That's what that represents.
Correct, and that is just a contingency based on if something comes in over budget or if we find a project that we want to fund later down the road.
Okay.
And I believe that 750 came from when we had talked in the Public Art Committee about, you know, the Magic Tree and the little free library that we ended up removing.
Okay. Any questions for Mike on the budget? Okay.
I've got a quick question. Where will the Family Art Days move once they tear down the park house?
Ideally, the plan is two options. The park house won't be torn down until the Raymore Activity Center is fully opened. There will be, I believe, as it's currently being built, space in there for us to use. If that doesn't provide to be an option, or we find it isn't a good option for the classes we'd like to hold, the Gilmore Room has also been opened up as a possibility in the future.
Thank you.
Well, we can discuss this at, obviously, and how far along, when is that building to come down? What's the date on that?
The Activity Center will not be completed until late fall 2018.
Okay.
And I am almost certain then the house will come down shortly after.
Okay, so we have some time to figure out what we're going to do. Harriet?
What's the Gilmore Room?
It is the classroom at Centerview.
The small classroom at the back?
Oh, the one place I have not been there.
Okay,
Okay.
right.
Is my understanding of the RAC building, it really is just a big gymnasium, isn't it?
It is.
So, but you'll be able to partition some off or something? Is that
Right,
the-
they will have a partition that we
Okay,
could
the
drop
sliding
and
thing.
use, right.
Okay.
If you've been in, say, like a high school gymnasium or any other activity center, they have that vinyl partition that divides the room. Not ideal. We do recognize that there is a need for classroom space, not just for the Arts Commission, but as Parks and Rec has been moving forward and growing some of their classes, they also recognize there is a huge need for classroom space.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, thanks.
So the next item for our staff reports is summer scene, and I'd like to call on Melissa McGee.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So our Summer Scene Planning Committee met on November 8th at Centerview, and we really just went over, we're still kind of in the broad scope of ideas and things, but we went over I'll be inviting our past art vendors back, and if anyone has any other people in mind, send them my way. I will send out that information in the invitations, and I'm talking about our arts vendors. I will send those out next month in December so that we can get these people, or so we can be on their calendars early before they book up. We also just talked about what was popular from last year that we'd like to bring back, such as the symphonies, petting zoo. So we'll try to get in touch with them and see if they'll come back. And different members of our committee are reaching out to specific contacts in Raymore to try to get more of our youth involved, local students, schools, whether it's volunteering or for musical or arts performances. We are still kind of talking about our community art projects and narrowing those ideas down. And we're happy that Lauren Jones has agreed to host a free hip hop dance class open to anybody during the event. I think it'll be a really fun way for everyone to participate. Young to old, whoever wants to. I think it'll be a really fun time. We also discussed promotions, and so we have ideas for that, working on poster design, working on our koozie design. I did get a sample of the color and the type that it was pretty cheap, but it looks great to me. So I'll go ahead and get a design and order those soon. And I'll be going over the budget and working on separating out our must-haves and our wants, and we'll be able to figure out what we can really do. And we'll meet again in January. I also wanted to talk about how we're using other departments in the city, how we're using art to engage our community in other departments. Last month, we raised money for our animal control, for our animal shelter with a Pop Art Your Pet paint event. And our animal control is working hard to have a successful barn cat program. So rather than euthanizing these feral cats in Raymore, which is an issue, we're working on capturing, sterilizing, and vaccinating and giving them barn homes. You know, a regular budget only goes so far, so fundraising is an important part of keeping that program going. And with this event, we were able to raise $675 for the shelter, and we didn't have to put out all we had to do was promote the event, and the event space, the Goddard Gallery and Lee Summit, did everything else. And so $15 of everyone's $45 ticket went back toward the shelter. So we were planning to have another one of those, but I just wanted to say, like, it's really, like, we had a great turnout. Everyone was really excited, and it's wonderful to have art happening throughout other areas of our city. And that'll be it. Questions?
Yeah, I saw, I guess it was on our Facebook page, or maybe that wasn't where I saw it, but I saw some of the artwork that was done for that
Yes, I actually brought in
benefit, and oh my gosh, it was great.
So I brought in mine and the one my fiance did, and these are the same dog, but just different ages. And we've never painted anything before.
Oh my gosh.
So everyone's
Those
looked
are-
really great, and it was a 3-hour class. There were 3 instructors and 45 people. So it was a big class, and everyone's looked great, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I just think that, I think that's certainly a possibility for something that we could do in conjunction with the animal control unit. Maybe we help host another one of those types of events here, like we did on the patio. And, you know,
Yeah.
I think people love animals. They love their animals. So I think that's a great idea. And maybe we could get people to display their art in the City Hall gallery. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So the next item, this kind of came up sort of randomly and sort of last second as well, and so I wanted to let the commission know. This past, or 2 weeks ago, the Missouri Association of Community Arts Agencies, or MACA, invited us at the last second to provide some information and present at their annual meeting. And they were really interested and had gotten information or had heard about the Relax in Raymore program. And it was interesting the number of people who, as we were speaking, really kind of keyed into the idea of the program, or Relax in Raymore itself, being a community-wide art project, where, as we were talking about the number of people who participated as artists, as well as folks who participated in the voting process, a lot of people really interested in asking questions about how they could, you know, have a similar program, kind of what it took for us to get it organized. MACA also interesting, if you've not participated or really kind of looked into what they do, they really are focused on agencies like ourselves as the Arts Commission, as well as not-for-profit agencies, and getting them connected with grant money. They have a board that, you know, a statewide board that, you know, it also includes, you know, a Kansas City regional rep, and so is able to get connected with him, talk to him about some of the different opportunities we have here in our specific region, and have also been able to get connected with some different resources that, you know, we have not been aware of in the past. And so I think it is a good opportunity for us to continue some of that networking I know we've talked about in the past. This really, I think, for being a half-day session and lunch, really turned out to be quite fruitful, especially just getting the Raymore Arts Commission name out there. And being last second, it was an opportunity for us just to head to Columbia for half a day and talk about the Arts Commission. So wanted to give you that update. Any questions about MACA? And I believe it's MACA that sponsors the all-day session. Okay.
The two-day session usually, annually.
You've been to the 2-day, but I went to a 1-day, which was fabulous. A great opportunity for what we used to call networking. I guess we still do. But I think it'd be great if some other commissioners got to participate in that. It gives you a good feeling about us in relationship to, and good ideas. But I don't know when they schedule those, but it'd be great to have, particularly maybe some of the newer members, participate in one or both of those this year. And we've got a little money.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's great. I mean, I think anytime we can, you know, promote the successes that we've had as a young organization, Arts Commission, because, you know, a lot of those commissions or councils or whatever the city might call them have been around a long time, and I know some of them struggle, and we've been quite successful. So thank you for just proving that we're having good luck here. So.
Excellent. And so our last item is just a reminder of two events, really. The first event is this Thursday at 4 o'clock at the Seed Pod Sculpture. We'll be doing our ribbon cutting with all the commission members that can be there. Would love to have you there to help cut the ribbon. We'll have Chet there as well. And so really excited to be able to, you know, I guess officially open the sculpture and let everyone know what's going on there. The second item is the December 1st at 6 p.m. That is the mayor's Christmas tree lighting. I know the commission has expressed interest in having a tree as part of the tree trail. We will need to have that tree in place and decorated essentially before December 1st. On the 1st, I'm sorry, on December 1st, before 6 p.m. And so if we wanted to, I don't know if the commission members wanted to put together a schedule or find a good time to, we have the tree itself, which should be relatively easy to assemble. But then I know there were other ornament items and things that we needed to collect and put together. If we wanted to talk about how we wanted to get those there, we certainly can transport them to the park, and if others wanted to help with the assembly, would certainly appreciate any help that we could have on that day.
Yeah, I think Bob's kind of taken charge of that. I know he's got some ornaments. I brought a box of ornaments. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town, so I won't be able to help decorate the tree, but you know, preliminarily, if I can help with the little Adirondack chairs, or if anybody wants to paint a couple of the Adirondack chairs and then get them back to Mike or Bob. And then that night, so they're setting up the trees on the 1st, is that correct? Okay, in time for 6 p.m., which is when the lighting takes place.
Well, and that will be when the event starts.
Oh, okay.
The lighting itself.
Oh, it's
may
probably not till 9 or something.
Yeah, a little bit later.
Okay. And that's, of course, TB Hanna Station is where the trees will be, so I would encourage if any of you can just take, you know, half an hour. It shouldn't take long to decorate the tree and put it up, really.
Yeah, and the tree itself is pre-lit, so it's just a matter of assembling the 3 sections and getting everything else on it.
Yeah, and I think Bob will, you know, manage that process, but let Bob know if you can help. I mean, like I say, I wish I could be there because I love to help decorate trees, but yeah, that'll be good.
And that was all for staff reports.
Okay, anybody have any other questions for either of them? Okay, with that, we'll get our committee updates, and Mike, I guess I'll turn it back to you for the Public Art Committee update.
Absolutely. Want to preempt our update on the Public Art Committee just briefly, because while we met on Monday and selected our artist for the mural, but I don't yet want to announce, simply because I've not had the opportunity to contact the other 20 muralists who also applied. And I wanted to make sure for a couple of reasons. One, we had a very talented pool of artists who had applied for this mural position. Some who had some incredible mural experience, others who were just starting, and was really, I think, the whole committee was impressed with the quality of work that we saw for this project. While there can unfortunately only be one artist, what I am hoping to do here in the next couple of days is contact each of the artists that we thought were outstanding and invite them to participate either in the Chamber Art Gallery, find a way to get them more connected with the Arts Commission, or just explore what we could be doing to, you know, entice them to be to participate more in some of the projects that we have going on, especially with future murals, with other art projects that I know are going to be coming up that may part of our construction projects that I think they would have a good place in. So I want to be able to, instead of sending a form letter saying thanks but not this time, I want to be able to personalize each of those and speak with them, and because truly do appreciate the regional interest that we had. We had folks from throughout Kansas City, out of Springfield, out of the St. Louis area who had applied for this project, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at the meeting, but I did see the package of applications, and I was stunned. I mean, I just think it's fantastic that we had that many applications and quality work that I could see. So I'm excited to hear who it's going to be. But
sure, and we can certainly. I have all of the applications here. If we'd like to talk afterward or offline and kind of.
Okay. Harriet.
So have you gotten in touch with our selected artist?
I have.
And so he's aware. Okay, it's the others that haven't
Correct.
gotten the word yet. Okay, and he's happy?
Yes.
Okay.
Pat, did you have any questions or comments?
The quality of art that we were presented with was professionally done. It was high quality. There was a lot of talent and work that went into that from all of the applicants, and we discussed every applicant, their qualifications, their work. And we took a great deal of time making this decision. It was not an easy decision, but the outpouring and get a chance to see that much talent and to make these contacts with people is a great thing for our city and our commission. And I thank Mike for helping that happen.
Thank you. Are there any other comments about public art then?
No other updates.
Okay. Okay. With that, we'll have an update from the Education Event Working Group, and I'm going to let Lauren just speak about the success of the October event, and then kind of just very briefly to say what we think we have planned for December.
Yeah, our October event was great. We had 17 kids come out and participate. It was really, really good. The kids were very engaged, very creative. There was a lot of creativity that came out of it from the kids. So, I mean, people were definitely interested now that they know that it's out there again. So I think that going forward, we'll be able to get even more people to participate. There was a fear that, we'd be competing with sports and different things like that, but there's a lot of people that really just aren't engaged in that and would love to see more and more of these. So I think the Christmas one will get even larger turnout. Sharon, Becky, and I got together and threw a lot of ideas around of what we could do. We decided on, was it 4 or 5, Sharon?
Yeah, I think 5 different little opportunities for that.
So we'll start getting the word out, and I believe that this will be an even bigger event than the last one was. So we're excited.
Thank you, Lauren. If there are no questions for the committee updates, we'll move into our consent agenda. And tonight we have 2, the minutes from September and the work session notes from October. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from September, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, were there any corrections or additions to the minutes from any of the commissioners? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Those have passed. And then in your packet was the work session notes. Do I hear a motion to approve those notes?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, any corrections or additions to those notes? All right. With that, may I have show of hands for approving those notes? Okay, that's, motion is carried. Those notes have been approved. All right, our old business tonight is just to finalize the fact that we are going to be using a public email address system through the city. And Mike, is there any, I know you talked about that at the work session, so do you have any further comments?
Really the only thing I wanted to point out is at your dais, and I didn't want to announce it, but at your dais you have the URL, so you'll go to mail.google.com to log in. It is the first initial of your first name, your full last name. At raymore.com is your username, and then the password for now is the password that is on that sheet in front of you. Okay. Once you log in for the first time, you will be prompted to change your password. Make sure it is something memorable, as this will be the email address that I use to contact commissioners pretty much here on out. You will notice once you log in, you probably already have a couple of emails from me. Still, I'm going to recommend, though you do have an @Raymore email address, if there is any emails that you are sending to one another or emails that you are sending to the full commission, please do so, still copy me on those emails, as it allows us to keep a record of any of those conversations. And as our city attorney had mentioned, we want to keep the discussions to just the proposing of ideas or just kind of general information. If we start discussing Arts Commission business or coming to a decision or consensus via email, we run the risk of making decisions outside of, or running afoul of the Sunshine Law. And so, again, it's always important to make sure that I get included on those emails.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mike? All right, and with that, we'll start using that email effective immediately?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. All right, do any of the commissioners or staff have any new business to bring up? No? All right. With that, for our newest member, we do usually at the end of the meeting offer the opportunity for the commissioners to make comments or bring up anything that they'd like to share with other commissioners. So Susan, I'll start with you. Do you have anything you wish to say?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Harriet?
No, thanks.
Pat? Lauren? Okay, with that, then I think, may I have a motion for, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, one item from me. I believe I may have told some of the commissioners that we do not have a meeting on the schedule for December. As I went back through our official calendar that we had approved in August, we do have a December 12th date on that calendar. I currently do not have any items that would require an official vote or approval. Certainly open to either canceling or moving that meeting, just because at this time we don't believe I'll have anything pop up between now and then as well.
Well, now, work sessions are only one per quarter, is that correct?
Correct.
So we've already had our work session in October, which means we cannot have a work session in December. Can I have any feedback from commissioners? What's your...
I'm going to be out of town anyway,
Oh,
so.
okay. If none of the other commissioners object, then possibly we'll just forego the December meeting.
Okay.
Do we need to vote on that, or?
No, we
Okay.
can, I will do the official notice to cancel with the city clerk.
Okay. Well, then, would you please remind our commissioners who are not here, just send out a general email that there will be no meeting in December?
Of course.
Okay. All right. With that, then, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please raise your hand. All right, that's unanimous, and therefore the meeting tonight is adjourned. Thank you very much.